This episode is being sponsored by the Complete Dancer Project, which is presenting a one-day course for Irish dancers, parents and Irish dancing teachers at the University of Limerick on August 11th, 2018 from 9:30am until 5pm. For more information, please visit facebook.com, The Complete Dancer Project. My name is Martin Percival, and you are listening to the Irish Dance Podcast, folk dance to phenomenon and beyond. Hello everyone, I'd like to introduce our guest today. She's an Irish dancer and performer and a personal trainer. She owns her own company, Elite Fitness in Calgary. I'm delighted to welcome Lexi Bell. How are you doing, Lexi?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Good. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved in Irish dance?
My sister actually started before me. So my older sister, Erica, she started when she was young, and then we both were watching Riverdance when we were young, as everyone does, and she got obsessed with it. And then being the younger sister, I had to do what she did to try and be better than her. So that's how we started.
It's interesting that quite a lot of people start because their siblings started.
Yeah.
So I like that. So there was a bit of sibling rivalry going on between you.
Yeah, always.
And does she still dance?
No, she quit a while back, but
yeah,
she still comes and watches me when she can.
So who do you dance for?
I dance for the Houston Academy of Irish Dance under Sally Houston, Kim Kanash, and Carrie Houston.
Oh, I love the Houstons.
Yes.
Fantastic people. Yeah. So excellent. So how did you find competition?
Interesting. I've always...
I mean, you're still competing, right?
Yes. For a bit, I think. I've had a good shot at it, I think. It's been interesting. Highs and lows, obviously. I think, yeah, it's hard. It's become a lot different from when I started, so...
Well, speak to that a little bit then. So when you first started, what was the competition? What were competitions like? Are you saying that it was more fun then, or it's just got more intense?
Yeah, they were definitely more fun. It was more about, I think, just your love for dance and having friends and just going to feshes on the weekends and just having fun.
Yeah.
And in the past couple of years, it's just become a lot. It's more intense. You have to be training every day, and you know, there's always someone better than you, working harder than you. So that's always in the back of your head. And there's just so many more dancers now that are so talented. So it's a big mental game.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to do your best, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You put your best foot forward. So, and being a personal trainer, I'm sure, I mean, we've worked together, so I know that you're extremely fit. So that must really help for competition.
Yeah, when I was about 16, 17, my parents got me a sports-specific trainer down in Calgary. So I was training under the Athlete Factory, and it was the first time working with a personal trainer, and it was their first time training a dancer. So it kind of made me think, well, if it isn't that common for trainers to actually be working with dancers, that's something I want to do. And it's been something that I've fallen in love with, because training any athlete, you can do it the same, more or less, but a dancer is very, very specific.
I find all of that fascinating, especially because, you know, like you said, with the intensity of the competitions and just a lot more dancers coming on into the scene, you have to. Yeah, the cross training it just gets more intense. So, what is it that you specifically do in your cross training technique?
Like on a day-to-day basis, or?
I mean, for your personal dancing, how do you cross train?
I do a lot of weight training. So a lot of plyometrics, explosive training, because in Irish dance, you're not dancing for the longest amount of time. So you don't have to be, you know, have the stamina of like an hour or anything, but it's like the small bursts at each end of your step that you have to like pull yourself together and perform the same way you would be doing in your first step. So it's all the little things and firing the muscles that you wouldn't be doing. So like incorporating all the hamstrings, because most dancers don't even use their hamstrings. It's all like quad and glute base. So using the power from your hamstrings, like when you're jumping, is so different.
Yeah, it can give you a lot more strength.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you had your trainer, then when you your parents got you your first trainer, did they teach you all of this about the body and all of that as well?
A little bit. I had always been really into fitness. I've always been into sports, so I fell in love with that. But then after that, I went to university, and that's what I studied. So.
Okay, so you went to uni. You studied. What was it? You studied specifically fitness.
Yeah, I did an advanced 2-year diploma in personal fitness training.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I think the world of Irish dance really marries well with fitness, and it is just to me. It seems like it's in its infancy, because we're asking dancers to do a huge amount of work nowadays, and people are trying everything, Pilates and different forms of exercise. So I just think that the more knowledge Irish dancers have of other things that are out there, the better. So well done for you for doing all that. What made you decide to start your own company?
I've always hated working for somebody else. Like my first jobs, like I worked at a restaurant, I've worked everywhere, and I never found that I was benefiting from the company. It was always the people above me. So, and in the fitness industry, like if you work at a commercial gym, it's so hard. You're just based on commission or what you sell, and it's not really about the personal connections with your clients. It's more about just the money that you can make for the company. So I really wanted to just work for myself and find the people I wanted to work with, and not the ones that were just handed to me.
That sounds wonderful. So you get a real connection, and you can see you're really connected to the results. I love that. So when you've done quite a few different professional engagements. I know you've been in Rhythm of the Night. You did Take the Floor for a few years, the American Company of Irish Dance, and of course our very own Irish Dance Theatre. What is it about performance that you enjoy?
Probably not being scored.
Fair enough.
That was the one thing about like competition that after a while it just like started getting at me. It was always about, the placement you got or the score you were getting. So with performing, you don't have to worry about that. It's just showing your love and passion for the art form and sharing that with the audience. Yeah,
I really like that. And I would, having employed you as a performer, I would say that you do have a love for what you do, and you do engage with the audience particularly well, and it's lovely to see. It's lovely to see somebody who has so much passion for what they do. We certainly appreciate it at Irish Dance Theatre anyway. So how do you see what's the, I mean, with your fitness training and with your performance, where do you see your career going?
I definitely want to continue my education to go hand in hand with my business right now. So I'd really love to go back to school and study psychology, and then eventually get into sports psychology.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's very important to have that for dancers nowadays. There's just so much stress on, any little dancer, that it starts from a young age that they just come obsessed and they don't have the confidence and they're being down constantly. So I think it's important that we're giving young dancers that opportunity to have that help as well, to train their mind to not be, just see the good in it instead of just not achieving what you want to.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting to me how Irish dancing is developing, and especially the competition side. It's getting so big that we do need, as dancers, for me as a teacher and adjudicator, you definitely need to have all your ducks in a row when you're getting up to compete. So the sports psychology thing I find really interesting. And we've got it's even though Irish dance is a small community in itself, and it seems like it's a small world, there are a lot of people that are doing it, and I think the need is great. So well done to you. I think that's brilliant to go on and do that. Are there any negative aspects to either the performance or the competitive scene? Let's talk specifically performance. I think that might be a bit more interesting to talk about the negative aspects of that, because everyone, I think, thinks that we have a very glamorous life when you're doing a show,
yeah.
And it is. The spotlight is wonderful, and the lights and all of that on stage, but it is a bit of a grind, right?
Yeah, it's hard work. You're constantly exhausted. You're at a high risk of injury for always. You have rehearsals all day long. Maybe you're not cooling down properly. Maybe you're not sleeping well. You're not eating well. That you have to really take care of your body, and I think that's the most hard thing about the performing life that most people don't see. They think it's just glamorous because you're on stage. You look beautiful, you have the costume, you have the makeup, you have a full audience, but there's so much work and behind the scenes that some people don't understand that.
Is there any, are there any particularly bad examples that you would like to share with us? You don't need to mention any names.
In one of my experiences, we were working for, I think, constantly for 14 hours a day.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, and we had maybe a 5-minute lunch break. Yeah, and it was we were employed by a theme park, so we couldn't really, tell them what we wanted because we were employed by them. And we had the show the next day, and they literally tore the whole show apart, restaged it, put new costumes on us, and then I think we did 6 or 7 full run-throughs. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I was coming off of one of the windows, and I just busted my ankle.
Oh no.
Yeah. So my body literally couldn't handle it anymore. And I remember just crawling backstage. I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the non-glamorous side of it. That's an awful lot to ask dancers to do without any break. I'm hoping, one of my personal hopes is that as we grow as a profession in the Irish dance world, that we can advocate for dancers to be treated properly and fairly. I mean, it's one thing, I think we're all used to, as Irish dancers, being able to just hop up and get up and do a step whenever somebody asks. Mm-hmm. But if it's your job, if it's your livelihood, you really need to be probably a bit more circumspect about where you dance, how long you dance for, and that kind of thing. Yeah, even though you were probably in tip-top condition, but that's just overtaxing your body. Yeah, wow. So that's a horror story. How about one of your particularly enthralling or wonderful stories?
Probably this past Christmas with the Irish Dance Theatre.
You don't have to say that just because I'm into
No, seriously. We had a good cast and we all really meshed really well. So it was stressful bringing the show together, but at the end of the day, you could see that we were all working hard together, and it just made it more special when you meshed well with the people you're around. So it was very special being a part of that, and it was probably one of the best experiences I've had with performing.
Oh, well, thank you, Lexi. That was it was a very and will continue to be a very have a special place in my heart, obviously. Mm-hmm. But we loved having you dancing, and it's a good product, and it's only going to get better, which is great. So, how about the competition scene then? What is it? If you could rule the Irish dance world for a day, what would you like? What would you like to keep, and what would you like to change?
Probably change wearing wigs and tanner.
Oh, yeah?
The amount of tanner I get on my dress is just unreal. And my socks, I've always had to buy new socks because you can't bleach them.
Yeah, it's a little bit gross.
Yeah. It would be perfect just to have like a soft shoe round. Because
yes.
I love soft shoe. Hard shoes are
a little bit more of a challenge, right?
Yeah. Not my strongest suit, but we're getting there.
No, absolutely.
I love traveling, so I love that aspect of it. I love going to different places, and the community, more or less, is pretty good. The friends I've made around the world are, I'm going to keep those friends forever, and I can thank that because of competition and Irish dance.
Yeah, that's a common theme from a lot of people that I've spoken to, is that they've made friends, lifelong friends in Irish dance. And the thing about it is, I think we are, once you get hooked on it, it's really hard to give it up. So
yeah.
if you stay with it, it kind of sticks with you for life. So do you have any plans to take your teachers?
I've always wanted to. I'm working on my grades right now, so I'll get those done
and then see where you are. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so just briefly then, let's talk a little bit about, so if that's what you wanted to change, the wigs and the tanning and stuff like that, what would you see as a solution for that? Like, how would you like to see it?
I just like simple. So
yeah,
I just like wearing black tights. So that would be perfect for me. And just like a simple light dress, like nothing. I mean, we train all year in shorts and a t-shirt. And then we have to put on this heavy dress and the tiaras and the wigs. And it's just so different. And I do love having, the sparkly dresses and everything. But I think it's come a little away from focusing on the dancing and more about, who you're wearing and how many diamonds you can have on your dress. And
yeah, although, we have to love it, right?
Yeah.
We all love a bit of sparkle. But yeah, I agree with you. When I'm judging, I prefer. When I was teaching, I saw dancers in shorts and t-shirts, and I loved just being able to look at their dancing and just to be in a more natural kind of setting, I suppose. So, but perhaps with the likes of you, and just I think it would need to come from some of the top dancers if they were to just. Make an effort to be a bit more simple. Although, having said that, we would put people out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
if they weren't dressmakers. So
yeah.
we don't want to do that either. Okay, so do you think that we, as dancers, we may have body dysmorphia issues or eating disorders? Do you think that can be seen in the Irish dance world, or what's been your experience?
Definitely growing up with dancing, it's always been just the normal thing to have the dancer body, the lean muscles. You don't see a lot of the opposite out there in the dancing world.
Right.
And, if you have trainers, if you have nutritionists, if you have anything like that, they're keeping you on a pretty clean, strict, whole food diet. And, you're eating like that whole year round to fuel yourself. But with the amount of activity you're actually doing, you're probably not even taking in close to what you should be with what you're burning.
Right.
So I think some people, do get obsessed with it. I see it all over the internet. People go, 1 month till nationals, I'm not eating sugar, I'm not eating this, I'm not eating that, I'm not eating this, because they think that it's going to take away from them reaching their goals. And yeah, I think there is a little bit of that going on. And even for myself, I usually try and keep myself pretty strict all the time. And then if you like go out and you're like, oh, I just want this, but you're like, no, I've been eating so clean, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. So there's one thing, I think, as you as a personal trainer, there's one thing to be disciplined, right?
Yeah.
Which is great, but there's another thing to be neglect what your body needs.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that dancers are very careful about what they eat, and and they need to be speaking to a professional, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough. Do you think the Irish dance world in general supports positive body image of dancers?
I don't know. You don't see anything, around that is supporting it.
Yeah, overtly. Yeah. It's just interesting because to me, I feel like one of the reasons that I loved Irish dance is that pretty much anybody can do it, and then we kind of get weeded out with talent, and then people who work hard and this, that, and the other, and it whittles down until you're up there with the top dancers and everything. And maybe I'm a bit naive. I don't see a huge problem with it, but I definitely saw it once we went into the performance world. Did you see it more during your performances with the other cast members? Yeah.
I mean, to each their own, but it is sad to see people restrict themselves because they want to be thinner on stage, or they think that's more attractive to an audience member. But like, what you're doing to your body is not healthy, and you're asking for injuries, you're asking for something to go wrong. And with the amount that you're putting your body through already by dancing, you need the proper nutrition to fuel your body to work properly.
Yeah, we work hard enough as it is. So with your performances, I'm sorry, my cat just came in the room. With the performance companies that you've worked with, was there, I don't want you don't have to call anybody out or anything, but was there a feeling from the management that you had to look a certain way, or?
With some of them, yes, and they were quite vocal about that. Others, not so much.
When they were vocal about it, what kind of things would they say?
They'd give you a smaller costume than you could fit in, and it's not a good feeling putting a costume on. Then you're like, oh, well, this can't fit me, and they're like, well, those are the only sizes we have. You need to deal with that.
So it was passive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. So
yeah,
I just, I really do hope that as a profession we can start treating dancers properly. That's a horrible situation. I know I experienced it in myself with how I viewed my own body when I was performing. And that was a difficult time, when you're in my life. I think it's just like a general sense of pressure around to keep in tip-top shape. Yeah,
and you're always hardest on yourself. So
of course. I mean, having said that, we were provided with massage therapists, and we were provided with proper nutrition and training sessions and stuff like that. So I think maybe a psychologist was needed as well. But it's rife in the dance world. So I just wondered what your experience was. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Well then, Lexi, let's go to the rapid fire round. What's your favourite food?
Ooh, chicken.
Riverdance or Lord of the Dance?
Both. I'd love to be in both, so.
That's far too diplomatic.
I know.
Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Never give up on your dreams, and to always believe in yourself.
Oh, that's lovely. Is there a book that's changed your life?
Yes, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called the Four Commandments or something. It's basically about teaching you to live your life, and not in other people's, perspectives and viewpoints, and just letting go of everything that's holding you back.
Yeah, I think I know the one you mean. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's like the 4 pillars or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Never. So gross.
What is wrong with you people? Okay, and then any advice you would give to aspiring Irish dancers?
Find the positives and the love in what you're doing, and let that fuel you forward, and don't focus on the negatives and what people want you to do. You have to follow your heart, and it's your life at the end of the day, so do what makes you happy.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Irish Dance Podcast. If you haven't already, please go to iTunes or your favourite podcast app and subscribe to our podcast. That would be great. And if you are on iTunes, if you wouldn't mind please leaving a review, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Please visit our website at theirishdancepodcast.com. There's also a survey there where you can fill in what you think about the show so far. So look forward to your feedback and have a great day. Bye-bye.